Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sevasti Smith.
My name is Nell O'Brien.
And my name is Savannah Anderson.
And in this project, we're doing a direct replication study of Deanna's wealth and happiness across the world study that was conducted in 2020. Our research states the majority of people in wealthy nations are happier than those in poorer nations, but prior research has been conducted with contradictory results. Some indicate that money does not impact our feelings of happiness, while some argue that happiness is a significant factor influenced by the amount of money that one has. Our factor happiness, or better described as subjective well-being, is operationalized by factors such as life satisfaction, happiness, and annual income and fulfillment. Our research hypothesis is that there would be a moderate correlation between money and subjective well-being, and while the purpose of the study is to analyze the mediators of the relationship between income and well-being, such as psychological, physical needs, and material desires.
So we conducted a survey with Psych 101 participants. There were 35 participants in our study, although that number fluctuated a little bit as there were some issues with participants not answering the questions correctly and skewing some data. The participants were asked to complete a Qualtrics survey with questions related to income, happiness, and subjective well-being. The survey included different sections such as a Likert scale, written response, and yes or no questions. The first question asked the participants to rate their happiness with a 10-point Likert scale, with 10 being the best possible life and 1 being the worst. A written response question was included to identify the participants' family household annual income. There were yes or no questions to indicate the materialistic items in their life, such as do you have a television or do you have internet? There were also yes or no questions to indicate their physical needs and if those were being met, such as do you have enough money for food?
And then as you can see, we have two graphs displayed here. So on the left, this is our original data set, and there are two outlying factors here that we did remove, but there are 32 data sets in this particular graph. Our p-value was set at 0.05, and our test came out not statistically significant with a p-value of 0.057. There was no correlation between wealth and happiness in our original data set, but as I said before, there were two outliers in our data set that you can see, and those were annual incomes reported at $90 and $750. What we assume is that they misunderstood the question and thought that it was maybe a monthly or their own personal income instead of their overall family's income. So we removed those outliers and redid our scale test, and we ended up with a p-value of 0.013, which was statistically significant. So after removing our outliers, our variables did have a moderately positive correlation, which did prove our research hypothesis to be correct. So after removing the variables, we got a statistically significant. However, there is only 16% of variance accounted for. What that means is that 84% of our happiness is influenced by anything other than annual income. So annual income only is accounting for 16% of our overall happiness.
And then over in the methods area, right by our graph, we decided to put together some statistics from our sample size just to see the other factors other than subjective well-being and money. So 34% of our participants are not satisfied with their standard of living. 17% of our participants at one point of the year did not have enough money for the food to provide for their families. And we found out that 97% of our participants have internet in their homes.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a really fun project to put together and problem solve. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.